Hey everybody, welcome back. I know it's been a while since I made a video. Had some stuff going on and there's not much that I need to really talk about. Just know that everything's okay and I will be starting to make some videos again. Had a lot of stuff change in my life recently and whatnot. So anyway, we're getting into a little different area of fetish on the channel, I think, where my wife and I have discovered a love of latex. So not only do we enjoy the high heel boots, and those will still be coming, but we've also started to move into latex gear. And I had a piece for a while, just one, and now we're starting to expand on it, and this stuff's not exactly cheap, so it's not going to be rapid like, oh, suddenly you're going to see 50 different things all appear all at once. But I want to try to share what I buy when we buy it and just kind of share with you guys what's going on, because I think sometimes, and it's not always, but sometimes leather and heels and that sort of thing kind of lend themselves to blend into latex in a way. So they don't necessarily go perfectly hand in hand, but they sometimes kind of go together. So the first piece that I ever bought was this pair of briefs, and I believe I got them from lovehoney.com, which is an English UK site. But I can't remember because it's been 3 years since I bought these. They were fairly inexpensive. They were not too bad, but it's basically just a pair of underwear, and I'm keeping a certain part kind of covered for YouTube, but there is a sheath here for me to use. Hopefully you guys kind of get the hint on that. But there is a sheath there that I'm kind of trying to keep things a little more PG. These I have chlorinated myself, and what chlorination does is basically you mix a bleach or something that has a specific type of, I want to say it's not chlorine, it's specific, it's not specifically chlorine, it's a different chemical that's listed on the bleach bottle, and you're looking for at least 5% of that chemical. I'll put what it is in the description. I can't think of it off the top of my head, and I apologize for that. But you mix that with an acid. Some people use hydrochloric acid or muriatic acid. Other people use vinegar, which is what I use, just straight white distilled vinegar. So what I did was I got a empty 5-gallon bucket, fill it up with 3/4 of the way with water. You use roughly a 1 3/4 cup of vinegar with 1.5 cups of bleach, and it releases chlorine gas into the water. You put the latex down inside the water and let it sit there for 15 minutes, kind of stir it around the whole time, really make sure it touches everything. And what happens is the latex the chlorine bonds to the surface of the latex, and it becomes really slippery. Normally latex just bare does not slide like this. It sticks to itself, it gets tacky, so you have to keep it coated with either talcum powder or silicone oil or something to make sure that it doesn't continue to stick to itself. It makes it really hard to put on, but when it's dry, after it's been chlorinated, it's really easy to put on. And you can buy pre-chlorinated latex from the store if you don't want to do it yourself, because the chlorine gas that it releases is really, really dangerous and poisonous. So I do it outside in the middle of the driveway, with good breeze going, make sure I have a fan blowing to get rid of the fumes, to blow them away from me. So like I said, I did it in the driveway at home. These have been These are 3 years old. They're still just as good as the day I had them. And you can never over chlorinate. So when I got the new gear, I chlorinated that as well. And I apologize for not filming it. Next time I buy something, I'm going to film the whole process of how I chlorinate things. But I tossed these back in there anyway, and they actually became even softer and slicker. So the new stuff that I just got, I've already done once, but every time I buy something new, I'm just going to keep throwing everything in there and just keep redoing it. These do not look as shiny because I haven't applied any silicone to them yet. So these are basically fresh out of the bucket. I chlorinated them, but I haven't shined them up yet. So this is the inside, this is the outside. And if you notice, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but there's not really a big difference in the way that they look. So the items that I did purchase recently, and these are all within the last 2 weeks, I got from twistmyrubberarm.com, which is a real mouthful for the name of a company, but they're a Canadian company out of Quebec, I believe. So we got a pair of their opera length gloves. These have been shined up with some silicone. I have to put another coat on them. Basically all I've been using right now is wet platinum lube, which works really well, but I am going to buy some official latex shine at some point. It's on the to purchase list. We just haven't had the funds to buy it yet. Rather get some of the latex items going rather than the shine that you can't use because you don't have anything to put it on. So these actually are pretty interesting. They're not my first pair of latex gloves. The first pair I bought were too small and I ripped them. That was about 2 years ago. I have fairly large hands, and I ended up splitting the palms wide open because I thought, oh, you know, latex stretches. I'll just buy them in a small and it'll be nice and tight. And yeah, I just split the seam right there on both sides. Both hands split the seams. So that was kind of a bummer. But the interesting thing about these is the latex is actually really thin up in the arm section here, and then when it gets down to the wrist and here, the latex gets much thicker. If you notice, it's actually kind of holding its shape with the hand and whatnot, but up here it's really, really thin. So I found that to be pretty interesting, and this wasn't even their premium, or I mean they have like 10 different types of gloves on there. So I bought, these are literally the least expensive ones that they have on the site. And again, I ended up chlorinating them all. These are in a size medium. And with the chlorination, I don't have any lube or anything on my hands, no powder, and they just slide right on, which is really, really nice. I mean, if those weren't chlorinated, you're not going to slide that on like that at all. So it makes it really, really nice to put on. The downfall is once they start to get a little damp, like even now my skin was a little damp on my hand, it makes it much harder to get them off. So these, I will put a link in the description, and I'll put somewhere on the screen a price of how much I paid for them. I want to say they were like $30, maybe $35. They weren't overly super expensive, but for opera length, I mean, they come all the way up to this part of my arm when they're pulled all the way up. So that's a pretty good price. The second thing that we purchased was a hood. I will put a picture of me in it because it is not the easiest thing to put on. But it has perforated eyes and a perforated mouth. The only thing I didn't like is, and you can't tell from the pictures, is it doesn't have a perforated, there's no nose holes at all. So all your breathing is done out of these eye holes, and you'd think that it would be out of the mouth, but the mouth is sealed in the middle, and for good reason, because there's a lot of stress in that point between your nose and your chin, so they don't want it ripping. So they put the holes off to the sides, which you can kind of see when they're lined up, you can see through it. They put the holes off to the sides, but the problem is that's at the very edges of your mouth, like almost onto your cheeks. So you can't really breathe through your mouth very well. So you're breathing through your nose, but there's no nose holes. So you have to rely on your nose pulling the mask away, and all your breath goes through the eye holes. It's not difficult to breathe. It's just a really strange feeling to feel that hot breath coming up past your cheeks and into your eyes. I haven't been able to wear this for very long. I'm slowly trying to work on building up my tolerance to it. And it's going to take some time, more than I anticipated. I thought I was going to be able to just toss this on and wear it and have fun, and that'd be cool. But it's a little more work than I expected. Back 20 years ago, I did have a hood that had just a cutout eyes and a cutout mouth, and it was really, really cheap. It didn't fit very well. This fits much better. This is definitely a decent quality product. The only other thing I wish it had was a back zipper, because that old hood that I had did have a zipper. Made it much easier to put on. But I'm not going to take anything off for that. It's still, like I said, it's a very great quality product. The latex on the top of the hood is a little thicker than at the very base. Same thing that happened with these, which I think is an interesting feature. I don't know if that's done on purpose or if it's just the way that they mold it. Either way, I do like it. And it looks really, really cool when it's on. Again, I'll show a picture or two. The last item that I bought, also from twistmyrubber.com or twistmyrubberarm.com, is this vintage Russian gas mask. It's a GP5. The thing is that, and I mean, it's well, it's well made. It's exactly what the description said it was on the site, which there wasn't a whole lot of description. So it's, to me, to say, oh yeah, it's exactly how it was described is kind of false, because they don't tell you that these are old stock. And I was quite disappointed in that. I thought I was buying a fairly new product, or a product that was in really great condition, and that wasn't the case. When I got it, it was completely covered in dirt. The inside was all full of old dirt. It smelled like it had been sitting in a warehouse for 40 years. Like really old rubber tire smell. So I was a bit disappointed with that. I didn't even want to put it on straight out of the box when I got it. All of these came in nice brand new packaging, all wrapped up, and this was literally just shoved in the box, just the way it is, right in the box, mailed out, no packaging or anything. So it's obviously old. I mean, there's a lot of people that really want authentic vintage military stuff, which is what this is. I just didn't realize that's what I was getting. So that's my only complaint, and I can kind of show you. I've already washed this with soap and water twice, full inside and out, and then I chlorinated it, which requires soaking it in a bucket for 15 minutes. And I kind of tried to scrub it a bit while I was doing that, and it's still, let's see if we can get to show you here. Inside certain parts, the camera's not picking it up real well, but right in here, it's all still kind of dirty. Same thing around here. This whole flange system is a little on the grungy side. And then the big one, as you can still see on the inside here, you can kind of see inside of it is not exactly the greatest. I'm trying to get it so light can shine down inside, but it's difficult. Yeah, right in here, it's still fairly dirty, and that was after cleaning it 3 times. It was pretty gross, and I was kind of mortified to think, oh my God, I'm going to put this on my face and it's going to seal all around. But it is what it is. I mean, these are the least expensive gas masks that twistmyrubberarm.com sells. So I wasn't expecting anything great. I was just expecting something a little newer. This is something more along the lines of what I would expect to buy off of eBay, with the notion, knowing that I was buying something that was previously potentially used or at least old vintage stock. So I'll keep that in mind for the future, that if I'm really looking for something, to either look elsewhere in that aspect or at least know what to expect, because this is literally the first gas mask I've ever bought. So now that I got a better idea, I can go into it planning better. But overall, everything fits. I mean, the rubber's all in great shape. The valves all work perfectly fine. I'm still not sure if I'm going to modify it or not, because they have almost like a sticking to it where it takes a little bit of pressure to get them to release, whether you're breathing in or breathing out. So the whole mask is constantly like flexing, and it pressurizes for a second and then releases. I don't know if that's supposed to be like that, because again, this is my first gas mask, so I don't know. There are a couple other models of gas masks that I want to buy, that I think look cool. We also have plans to buy plenty of other gear, corsets and full catsuit and the whole 9 yards. So those will be coming eventually, as we slowly save up money and get things going. I also wanted to say I appreciate everybody that's been subscribing, even in my absence. And unfortunately, my 1,000 subscriber giveaway is currently going to be on hiatus. The Pleaser Dagger boots that I was going to give away are no longer in my possession, unfortunately, and I know that's going to disappoint a lot of you out there. But I just had to do some things with my boot collection and sell off some items to try to help with current stuff, and unfortunately that was one of the pairs that was, I want to say, most valuable. I had the most offers for people that wanted to buy them, so it really tore me up to say, you know, hey, I gotta cancel the future giveaway for protecting myself in the present. So with that, I will try to come up with something to do for when we hit 1,000 subscribers. I do still want to do some sort of giveaway, but for now, I don't know what that's going to be. But I will figure something out, because that's what I really would like to do. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, I will leave links in the descriptions for everything that I bought, along with pricing and whatnot. And I hope you guys have a good day and see me next time. Thanks. Bye.